to the right with the bass.
Hey man, say man, the saga between Shakur Stevenson, Eddie Hearn, Turkey Al-Sheikh, and now Lou Dibella added into the equation, it continues. And Eddie Hearn say it's all cap. Shakur ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna let y'all hear audio from two different interviews with Eddie Hearn giving his truth, his side of the story. But before we do all that, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's cook on it, cause something ain't right. So as you may know by now, reports came out, I believe late Sunday night, that Shakur Stevenson had left Eddie Hearn and hired Lou Dibella to be his promoter for the Williams Zepeda fight. Also, reports came out that Eddie Hearn and Turkey Al-Sheikh, they was butting heads behind the scenes, right? All the big outlets then came out with the information, but Dan Raphael was the main source that came out with this information. When I heard the information, I reached out to some people behind the scenes, and what I was told is that when Shakur Stevenson himself and his team talked to Turkey Al-Sheikh, whether it was over the phone or sit down, I don't know. I didn't get that far deep into it. Well, when they talked to Turkey Al-Sheikh, the business that they was hearing directly from Turkey Al-Sheikh was different from the third-party business dealings that they was getting from Eddie Hearn, right? This is what I was told. Therefore, Shakur Stevenson, he decided to deal directly with Turkey Al-Sheikh, and then had somehow, right, got Lou Dibella to represent him in his next fight as his promoter, and put Eddie Hearn on the back burner. And the confusing part wasn't Shakur Stevenson still in contract? And my thoughts was, well, Turkey Al-Sheikh, he got all the money in the world, and if Shakur needs to be bought out of his contract, like what was reported, because Dan Raphael also reported that Shakur was being bought out of his contract, right? I said, well, that ain't gonna be no problem for Turkey Al-Sheikh. He gonna handle that, right? And I also spoke on that I hope that Turkey Al-Sheikh and Eddie Hearn wasn't beefing, and if they were beefing, that they was gonna patch it up soon, because it just ain't good for boxing. Well, Eddie Hearn spoke on the whole situation because Shakur Stevenson, he still has yet to speak on this situation on X. He's been pretty quiet about the whole situation, but Eddie Hearn, we know he ain't gonna hold his tongue. So let's listen to what Eddie Hearn had to say about the situation, and make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and stop sitting in the background watching the videos but don't want to hit the like button because you got so much hate in your blood. Let's listen to this real quick, because some just ain't right.
And what happened, there's been rumours that there's a split for the American. You read Twitter, we have a 2-fight deal with Shakur Stevenson and Turkey Al-Sheikh. Was with Turkey Al-Sheikh earlier for a couple of hours. That's it. So after there's a pay-to-fight, I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully, we have the rest of his career with us, but I can't say that categorically. So yeah, I agreed a 2-fight deal with Shakur Stevenson, Turkey Al-Sheikh, and that's it. So yeah, July 12th we roll on against Zepeda, and we'll see what happens after that.
So it's complete fake news?
Yes.
It's a hot topic, and I heard you speak about it a little bit already. Shakur Stevenson. So, according to what you just said, because I want to ask you something different, you said, hey, it's a 2-fight contract.
Yeah.
And this is the second fight, so everything is everything right now. There's not an issue. Do you think whatever Shakur's potential issue might be is deriving from the way this Zepeda deal went? He was vocal about how he felt about it. Is there anything to that, or?
No, I mean, I think that obviously the fight was going to be in Saudi Arabia originally, and now it's ended up being in New York. Those conversations happened personally between His Excellency and Shakur to trying to get over what was said publicly between those two guys. So look, we had an agreement when we sat with Shakur Stevenson at the Madrimov Crawford fight. We agreed and we papered a 2-fight deal with His Excellency and Shakur. There's no issues. I get on great with Shakur. I think he's one of the best young fighters in the world, and I hope that beyond these 2 fights we will actually work together for his whole career. But I can't tell you if that's going to happen. All I know is we'll be there to support him July 12th, and after that, hopefully we can extend the contract.
Is there anything you can offer as far as how Lou Dibella plays into this? Because it seemed very random when Dan Raphael reported it. Do you know anything?
Ask Lou Dibella, and Dan Raphael, but I know what we agreed, and that's how it is.
So Eddie Hearn, he said it's all lies, right? That he still got a 2-fight contract with Shakur Stevenson, and basically said him and Shakur all good, and he wants to promote Shakur Stevenson for the rest of his career. Something ain't adding up. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Some just ain't adding up. Some just ain't right. Because Lou Dibella hasn't come out and denied this. Shakur Stevenson, he stay on X all the time. He didn't deny none of these rumors, right? Dan Raphael, he been reporting for 30-something years, and he ain't gonna just make up some shit and come out with it. So something ain't adding up here, right? It seems to me that Eddie Hearn, he know what's going on. He know that what we hearing is the truth, but he's pushing back, right? Behind the scenes, he's fighting because he like, hey, y'all ain't gonna just do me like this when I still got Shakur Stevenson under contract. And like I said, from what I heard, Shakur, what he was getting from Eddie Hearn, and then what he heard from Turki Al-Sheikh directly was two different things. So when he went back and talked to Eddie Hearn, I'm thinking he probably was like, no, that ain't the truth, Shakur. This is what happened. This is what. So, it's back and forth behind the scenes. Now the whole Turki Al-Sheikh and Eddie Hearn button heads, I don't know if that's really going down. That's what they reported. That's what they saying. But this whole situation is real confusing. At this point, we need Shakur Stevenson to come out and clear this situation up, right? At this point, we need Shakur Stevenson to tell what's really going on, because Eddie Hearn, he don't sound like that he's been 100% transparent with the whole situation. I know Eddie Hearn, and I know when Eddie Hearn is telling the truth, and really if this was all lies, Eddie Hearn would be real boastful about what he's saying, and Eddie Hearn's tone of voice is real low. He's not talking with a whole lot of confidence. When he said it was all lies, he kind of said it like, he was like, so this is all lies? Eddie Hearn was like, well, yeah. That didn't sound convincing to me. Like, ain't nobody just making up all of this, man. Something's going on behind the scenes, like I said. And now I guess the only one that can come and clear this up is Shakur Stevenson. But let me know what y'all think is really going on behind the scenes with this whole situation. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and y'all already know how I do. Ain't gonna talk that boxing right here, look this way. Focus so the picture clear, Betty. Hoping that I disappear, but I won't, cause I can't to the bank and the pot is clear. Thank God there's Shakur here. What you think? Don't care. Know that I'm there. Yeah, ranked at the top of there. My nigga, do you really wanna see me close? Fake ass rappers like CB4. No, we don't really wanna see Key though.